Stacy, Michelle, thank you so much for being on the Get Foxy show.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
You bet. Well, right off the bat, I have to ask you, most of our listeners may not be familiar with what a sexual empowerment coach is. So
Hmm.
tell me,
Yeah.
what exactly does a sexual empowerment coach do, and how did you become one?
Great questions, Terry. So, to start, as sexual empowerment coach, the work I really love doing with women is supporting women in moving through their sexual wounding, releasing many, many years of sexual wounding from their bodies, and helping them get in touch with greater states of sexual pleasure. That's really it in a nutshell.
By sexual wounding, what exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah. So as children, like we come into these bodies, right? And we start to, from a very young age, acquire negative messaging about our bodies and our sexuality from various sources. We can acquire them from our family members, from society at large, from religion. And this type of wounding actually gets stuck in our bodies, this messaging. Our bodies carry this negative messaging, and it stops sexual energy from flowing through our bodies. It stops our inherent ability to feel really epic states of pleasure in our bodies. And so that's what the work I do with women is all about, is really helping them, one, identify what this wounding is, right? Because to your point, Terry, like a lot of people don't even know. We don't even know we have this wounding in our bodies and how it's impacting us in our sex lives in the here and now. So first, it's really gaining clarity. Okay, what is this wounding, right? And then two, helping women move through the wounding, releasing it from the bodies, and getting back to this divine birthright that we all have as women to experience pleasure and bliss in our bodies. That's what it's all about, really returning to wholeness with the idea that our bodies are these sacred temples, is what I like to think about them as. And again, it's really our divine birthright to feel great pleasure. Yeah.
I, I interrupted your answer there, so I apologize. But I felt like that was a pertinent question to ask. So, did your profession kind of choose you, or did you choose it? How did you become the practitioner you are?
Yeah. I'd like to say it chose me. I was, I'd always known something was off with my body. I didn't have a menstrual cycle like all the other girls did. And when I was a teenager, and when I was working as a woman on Wall Street in New York City, you would have thought I had it all going on the outside. I had the New York City apartment and the great job and the money. But on the inside, I really felt quite disconnected from my body. And there was so much shame, and I wasn't able to orgasm. I really felt quite broken on the inside, and had a really tough time with my relationships with men, so much so that um, I had to drink quite a lot to be able to get intimate with men. And then when I found yoga and meditation, my desire for alcohol had dwindled, and now I was stuck in a body, like with the reality of the body. I didn't have alcohol to numb me out. The reality that I was in this body that I didn't feel safe in, that I felt a lot of shame around, that I felt disconnected from. And eventually it had come to light that I had repressed sexual trauma from childhood at the age of 7. And in a sense, it was quite, it was in a sense, there was a lot of relief because I knew something was off for a really long time. In a sense, it was the answer I had been seeking for quite some time. And I started on the healing journey and did a quite a deep dive into somatic healing. And then after that, felt so called to continue to eat up this work, and felt a strong desire, a strong resonance to Tantra and the Jade Egg. And so I did a couple of online courses with my mentor, Layla Martin, and then engaged in a 600-hour certification in this work. And when I first signed up for the course, I didn't really know what I was going to do with the work, but I knew I had to continue the journey and to continue my own healing and deepening into my own pleasure and reconnecting to my body. And at the end of that course, I really realized, Terry, that this is absolutely my path in the world. And as we're seeing with the Me Too movement out there, there's so many women out there, right, that have experienced some level of sexual wounding. It doesn't even have to be from childhood. It could be when we were in the office at the age of 25, right? And we have an interaction with someone. And so, we say Me Too, and now it's like, what do we do now, right? Yes, I've experienced this, and then what do I do now to heal? And so this is really my mission, Terry, to support women in that journey. And I'm, such a joy to be here. I don't wish trauma on anyone, and yet it's been such a gift for me to have that journey of going from disconnect to connection, and now to be able to serve in this way.
You bet. I can totally relate to that in the way that I kind of got into cosmetic acupuncture was that I ended up having to suffer with Bell's palsy. And, you don't want anybody to suffer. You don't want anybody to have to go through that trauma. But because of those traumas, they make us, they put us on these journeys that we can then go through and then get stronger from, and then help others so they don't have to experience that pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
And with the women that listen to this show, most of the women I've found that listen to this show they're always, they're on the go. They're constantly giving. They're giving to their businesses. They're giving to their work. They're giving to their relationships. They're giving to their children. And they're finding that, God, I don't really have a whole lot of time for myself, let alone even stir up my libido. Yeah. So having someone like you to be able to provide some golden nuggets is huge. It's a huge service that you are doing for our society. And I just want to say thank you for that.
Yeah, I appreciate that reflection. Thank you, Terry.
So what are some of the most common questions that you get from women when they start looking to see if you might be somebody they want to work with?
Common questions are basically, how does this all work? How is it that a couple things. One is, am I normal? That maybe, so for example, one woman that I've worked with she was in a very sexless marriage and wasn't feeling much. And is that normal? Like, is it okay to feel these things, right? Is it okay to feel this disconnect? Am I alone in this? Am I the only one? Am I normal? Am I the only one out there feeling like this? Is a lot of it, right? Because sex is so taboo. We don't talk about sex very openly. And so I think a lot of women are having a lot of issues behind closed doors and don't have that outlet to express what they're feeling, and to know that absolutely they're not alone in that. There are so many women out there that are not feeling connected to their bodies in the bedroom with or without a partner. So that's the first one. And then then how do I then go and reconnect to my body? How do I return to the state of pleasure that's available to me? Yeah.
I just went off my train of thought there. Okay. That happens. But, well, let me go back to one of my standard questions that I ask everybody.
Yeah.
And that is, what does Foxy, since this is the Get Foxy show, what does Foxy and being Foxy mean to you, Stacy?
Being Foxy to me means being able to feel everything. And that means being able to feel anger and sadness and grief, and being able to feel great states of joy and pleasure and bliss. So this like full access, like the broad spectrum of all the emotions that we are able to feel as humans in these bodies in this lifetime. Yeah.
So how does the work that you offer bring out the foxiness in your clients?
I think that because a lot of what's stopping us from pleasure is that we're stuffing a lot of pain in our bodies. So it's really about I'm a permission slip. I'm a big, bright permission slip for these women to feel, to kind of unearth all this stuff, like all this anger that we weren't allowed to feel as children, and the sadness and the grief, and to let that come out. And yeah, in that beautiful process of going into the shadow, make space for the light. So women can then go to the other end of the spectrum and to feel like great states of pleasure and joy and happiness. Yeah, so that's the work that I do. It really enables a broader ability to feel the broad spectrum of these emotions. Yeah.
You bet. I can so relate to that as an acupuncturist.
Mm.
I believe too. I mean, it's such a great way to say I am a permission slip.
Yeah.
And it's such is the case with the work that I do in my office, because I'm doing work that I mean, acupuncture is very holistic, so we work body, mind, spirit. And when I'm doing something like what we would call an aggressive energy treatment that helps align the energy flow within the body, all of a sudden these emotions can come up. And I've had patients call me, I did that treatment and I cried for 3 days straight. And it scared the hell out of my husband, but it felt so good to cry. And after they released all of that emotion,
Yeah.
their body had less pain. Actually, the back pain that she saw me for completely went away. And all of a sudden, there was so much more room for her to experience joy. And so I love how your work, my work, and the work of all the practitioners that I bring onto this show, they all kind of come together. There's such a commonality here in how we work to support women.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Out of the many women that you've worked with, can you tell me a little bit about some of the outstanding transformations that you've seen?
Yeah, so there was one woman who had some sexual trauma as a child, so very similar to my story, and wasn't able to orgasm, and really scrutinized her body quite a lot, Terry. And through the work that we had done together, she was able to orgasm, which is so beautiful. She was able to have that experience, and she can now honestly look at her body and really love her body, love it in all of its glory. And yeah, I think to be able to support a woman and really moving through trauma and having the orgasm and really loving her body is just such a joy to be able to support women in that way, and this particular woman for sure. Yeah.
God bless you in doing that work. I'll bet you are one of her most favorite people on the planet now.
Yeah.
Well, another question I have, there's been a lot of press I've been seeing lately, or kind of circling around the internet, about this jade egg thing, and you mentioned it earlier. Now, I have some knowledge of it because of the Chinese medicine work that I do, and one of the books I have in my library is actually this book right here, Healing Love Through the Tao, Cultivating Female Sexual Energy by Mantak and Manawan Chia.
Beautiful.
But most people have no idea about what this jade egg phenomena is all about. Could you explain that to us a little?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a beautiful practice. So the jade egg has been used by the Taoists for thousands of years. And essentially, the jade itself is a cleansing stone. So when we stick the jade egg into our pussies, we actually are able to purify our pussies of energies because of the jade that don't serve her. So for example, if we want to cleanse our pussies of ex-lovers that are no longer in our existence, or even with our existing partners, it's really beautiful because we can clear out that energy. And then there tends to be more of an attraction with our existing partners if we use the purification of the jade egg in that way. So there's the purification aspect, the healing aspect of the jade egg. And there's also, by having the jade egg there, it actually increases our sensitivity in our pussies. So really just, those are just kind of two of the main components, two of the main benefits to working with the jade egg. It also strengthens the pelvic floor. So somewhat in alignment with what Kegels would do, but again, it has more of that emotional benefit that you wouldn't get from doing Kegels. So it's essentially you're getting more benefits from doing the jade egg versus just doing Kegels. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful practice. And my teacher, who has been teaching these classes for years, about over 95% of the women who have done these courses have said they feel sexier from doing the jade egg. So there's just something about the practice that really allows, in my own practice and seeing with clients, just us to connect to our sexiness, for lack of a better word. Yeah, it's a really epic practice.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A couple of episodes ago, I had a lady on, Teal Fearberg, who teaches Taoist stone medicine.
Ooh.
And so it's interesting to hear you say that in Taoist tradition, the jade has a cleansing energetic to it. And I'm sure Teal could probably tell us a whole lot about that. But fascinating stuff. So we're talking energetic cleansing. We're talking essentially exercise and weightlifting.
You can weightlift,
for those muscles.
Yeah.
So strengthening, tonifying, cleansing. I can't imagine that you wouldn't find something more effective than that.
Yeah, increased sensitivity during sex, better sex, yeah, greater states of pleasure. Pretty epic practice, Terry. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a pretty epic practice.
Okay, and I'm assuming that there's probably hygiene awarenesses that you have to have with this practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially, you would, after you're finished with the egg, you'd put it, when you initially get your egg, you put it in boiling water for about 10 minutes. And then after you use the egg, you can put it in water, and then you put in 10 drops of tea tree oil is how you would cleanse it after every practice.
Gotcha. Well, that's good, because nobody wants a dirty egg, right?
Right. Yeah, and you typically want to leave it. You can leave it in during the day if you want, but you typically want to take it out after 8 hours. So those are kind of high points on jade egg hygiene for you. Yeah.
You could actually do that practice for a whole day.
Oh, well, yeah, I should be clear. So you can do it you could if you wanted to, but so usually I practice for 30 minutes to an hour with the egg. And then if I want to just kind of walk around town with it, I could do that, for 7 hours or so. Yeah.
Holy moly.
Yeah. Just hang out with your egg inside. It's kind of fun. It's kind of fun.
So besides the jade egg work, are there any other specific techniques that you find to be very effective with the women that you work with?
Yeah, one of my favorites, and I know you mentioned the idea that as women, wow, we're wearing so many hats, right? We're CEOs, we're moms, we're partners. And so how do we find time to do this stuff and to really kind of connect back to our bodies? So one of my favorite practices, and it's actually quite timely because I know that this is being aired close to Valentine's Day, is breast massage. Breast massage is such a beautiful practice, and on many levels, from a physical perspective, it actually helps us to move toxins out of our breast tissue. So it helps to keep our breasts nice and healthy. It is also, do you know, like in yoga, we have back bends, right? That are heart
Mhm.
openers, right? So breast massage is a heart opener, is a heart opening practice for our bodies as well. And so it's a really beautiful way to cleanse out our hearts of any pent up grief or sadness or anger that we might be storing there. Those are two main benefits to breast massage. And the beauty of it is it's really time friendly. So for the women out there they might be really busy moms right now, and again, just don't have a lot of time to dedicate 30 minutes or an hour to a practice, you could do breast massage for 5 minutes in the shower. And a little of this practice goes a really long way. And it's a really lovely way for women to connect back to their bodies, to soothe their nervous system, to cleanse the heart, and to really give back to themselves, to restore their systems. Because as you had said, Terry, we give a lot, right? As women, we give so much of ourselves. And so it's a really beautiful way to give back to ourselves, to give back to our bodies, to give back to our hearts.
You bet.
Yeah.
And I can certainly, again, I'm finding all these connections between the work that you do and the work that I do, because I'm sitting here thinking, well, yes, of course, breast massage is going to be a beautiful thing, because in Chinese medicine, the heart is the source of all emotions. And
Mm.
so when we're able to massage the chest, that really is soothing. It helps move that heart energy. There's also a strong connection between the liver and the breasts in Chinese medicine as well. And the liver has this regulating function in Chinese medicine that helps circulate energy through the body. And
Beautiful.
so it helps reduce stress. When we circulate that energy, we
Yeah.
feel less stress and tension in the body. So that breast massage
Yeah.
automatically is going to help relax and calm the
Mm.
body.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it's really beautiful stuff.
Well, Stacy, who embodies Foxy in your world right now?
Ooh, I like that question. Who embodies Foxy in my world right now? I would say my dear sister, Laura. She's and I say sister, I call my really close friends. I have my sister who I love to death, like legit biological sister in New York, but I have a dear friend, Laura, who's just phenomenal, and she absolutely embodies Foxy. She took this program with me, this 600-hour teacher training program, and she's really amazing at feeling all of her feelings and being in her body. And yeah, I really admire her. Yeah, and her foxiness. Yeah.
Hmm. What is the one piece of advice
Mm-hmm.
that you would have for the Vulpanistas? That's the Get Foxy tribe,
Oh,
Vulpanistas. They're followers of all things Foxy. Kind of
fun.
fashionista follows fashion. I've got Vulpanistas.
Nice. I love it. Oh, I would say that, yeah, find time for your pleasure. Find time for your pleasure, whatever that is, even if it's just 5 minutes, even if it's just 5 minutes of breast massage once a week. I would say, yeah, find time for your pleasure. You deserve it. You're worth it. Yeah, that's what I would say.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm finding the more women I work with, the more it's all about helping them find time to receive.
Yeah.
This seems like it's such a big issue in our culture.
Yeah.
We've got our women just going, 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 doing, doing, giving, giving,
Yeah.
and yet they don't get a chance to take a breath, take things in, and just, receive themselves, and to the point where they feel guilty
Yeah.
if they even take a moment
Yeah.
for themselves. So I'm preaching rebellion against that.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm
You
with you on that train.
you deserve
Hmm.
to receive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you hear that, ladies? You deserve to receive.
Yeah.
Take that time for yourself.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. It really is. It really is.
Stacy, how can people find you on the internet? And how can they get a hold of you for more information and learn more about your work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do a weekly Pleasure Talk Tuesday on Facebook. So you can follow me on Facebook, and that's on Facebook Live. I do those talks. And also, I am gifting to your listeners, your Volpinistas, right? Did I say that right?
You got it.
Okay. My Awaken Your Orgasmic Potential 4-week video series. It's a free series for your listeners. And that also does have a breast massage meditation within it that is guided. So for those of you that want to try that out, that is my gift to you. And there's 3 other meditations that are there to support you in your pleasure practices, as well as working through some sexual wounding. So yeah, those are the 2 ways to stay in touch.
Oh, thank you so much, Stacy. We'll be including all the links for those in the show notes. And so you'll just go to thegetfoxyshow.com or subscribe to us on iTunes, and you'll find the show notes at thegetfoxyshow.com. And then I don't know, I'm still working on iTunes, so I'm not sure if the show notes will show up there or not, but you can definitely find them at thegetfoxyshow.com.
Great.
So when you're not coaching and teaching,
Yeah.
what are you up to, Stacy?
I love to dance. So I am taking salsa classes right now, which I absolutely love. And I also do conscious dance, which basically is you get in a room with a bunch of people, the music plays, and you get to move your body in whatever way you want. It's unchoreographed. You can sound if you want. You can totally get wild in your body. And it is the most cathartic, most beautiful way that I like to spend my time outside of coaching. And I also love hugging trees and connecting with nature. Yeah, I love being in nature. It really lights me up. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
We are bumping up against time here, but I just want to say I appreciate you and I honor you because you are doing some sacred and amazing work that, when I keep going over this old adage, when mama is happy, everybody's happy. When mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And what you are doing is you are helping so many mamas get happy.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking the time today. I really do appreciate you being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I really appreciate all the work that you do with women, and that you even have this platform where women like me can show up and support the women out there that are really ready to heal and to get more into their pleasure. So thank you, Terry, for what you're doing in the world. Yeah.
You are absolutely welcome.